We went through budgets, we went through finances and jobs, the importance of a man taking care of his wife and making sure he won't take any job that's available out there and make sure he takes care of her. We talked about that. We talked about expectations. So easily a killer to any marriage is expectations. I expect you to be like this. I thought when we get married, you'd be a knight and prince in shining armor, and you'd be on a white horse and a shield all shiny. And then all I found out was you have a mule for a horse, and you act like that mule. And so I don't want to be married anymore. So we talked about that. We talked about communication, how to communicate with one another, and how to make sure you can say what you mean what you say it in kindness, with forgiving heart, a tender heart. We talked about also parenting, romance, godly roles, responsibilities, godly living, all those things, an essential part of their marriage that they are embarking on at this time. One thing I did tell them, though, I was very certain about this, is that there is no turning back once they say, I do. Jared and Britt began to talk to you for a little bit here. Like I said, nothing's easier than saying I love you and I do. Just mere words. They mean absolutely nothing if it's not also accompanied by commitment. That's a big word nowadays. I think people have lost the meaning of commitment, and that means sticking through things when it's not so easy. That means hanging in there when everybody else might just bail on the ship and, see the easier way out. I want you to realize that there really is no easier way out than doing it God's way. You need to be able to know that you're in love with each other, you care about each other. We've talked about that. I think you're a great couple together. You blend so well, and you tolerate each other's weaknesses right now. It doesn't seem that bad. And if there are any weaknesses, you'll say, oh, it doesn't matter right now. But I'll tell you something, 5 years from now, you'll start standing out a little more. And that's when that patience and that love comes in, saying, hey, being best friends is so important. In my time here as a pastor for over 29 years, I've seen couples married 50 years or more. And in that marriage, what I saw unique about those marriages is they became friends. In fact, so much so they began to look like each other and began to think each other's thoughts and began to know ahead of time what each other's going to say and their weaknesses and when to ask for things and when to avoid it, when they're mad, not mad, and you can tell those kind of things. We talk about telling the truth and speaking the truth to each other in love. And I told you about the importance of never going to bed angry and making sure that you settle those things through communication and making sure if you can't settle it, get some help. Get some professional help, someone that will intervene, an unbiased party, and make sure that you know on this day you made those commitments. You look at those rings, the reminder of that commitment you're about to make at this time. Nothing will be so sweet as realizing the years of working through the hard times will produce the sweet fruit of two lives so enmeshed that they're inseparable. So I want you to look at each other and know that you're about to promise your love to each other, and it's a love that's going to last many, many years, because God wants to let you live on this earth. I want you to know that you're committed to each other. Life's not always going to be easy. I hate to tell you that, but that's the truth. But I will tell you this much. You'll be able to endure the trials much more easily when you know you're working as a team together for a common cause. That is for our good. Our family's good. You'll have a family someday, if God's willing. That can be the case. And nothing else, you're a family, just a couple. You are a couple, and you are friends. And what we unite today, God will say no longer will be two, it'll be one. One in thought, one in common goals, one in friendship. Such a great, great thing. And that's one of the things I treasure in my marriage of 34 years, is that I have the best friend in my life as my wife, and I hope that will be the same true for you too. I believe that time will also make your marriage more enjoyable, or it also will make it more complacent. I want to warn you ahead of time that always when you do that, love every day. Always make it alive. Do what one man said, that I told my wife once I loved her. If I changed my mind to let her know, I want you to tell your wife every day you love her throughout all the years of marriage. And I want you to tell your husband, I love you. All right? And he'll always be your hunk, your great man. She'll be always your beauty, And you want to be able to make sure you know that as you grow old together. The wrinkles won't matter. All right? As the chest falls into the drawers, and you know what? You can't leap over the fences anymore. You can open the gates. You'll learn that, through all those things, you'll still love each other. You'll still be together. And no matter what we look like, no matter how we may not be as physically as attractive as we were at one time, we still have that soul and that heart and that love for each other. And so you're about to pledge your love for each other. Remember that as you go through the years. And also, remember to be quick to forgive, slow to anger, and also ready to always love. All right? And if you'll do that, I believe you'll have very many problems. All right. At this time, knowing that there's no barrier between you two, committing yourselves to each other, we're now going to say our wedding vows. These are vows. They're to be taken seriously. You might have noticed that I asked Dad when she came up here, who gave it this woman, to this man, in holy matrimony? And he said, and responded, her mother and I. The reason why we ask that, people may not realize this out here in the audience, the Bible tells us there's only one person that can break a vow, and that is the father of his daughter. When she hears her giving a vow to somebody, and he doesn't agree with it, he can disavow that vow at the time he hears it. If he lets it go and doesn't say anything, then it becomes permanent. So what we do is we circumvent it all. We take away all his rights. We say, hey, are you in on this? Are you agreeing to the vow she's about to make? And once he said yes, her mother and I, now it cannot be broken. All right, so we covered that base. All right, so you're about to make a vow. It's a commitment. It's not just a promise. Promises people make all the time and break them. This is more than a promise. It is based upon a covenant of love. That Christ gave his life for you and I. That same seriousness of that commitment is the same seriousness of the commitment you make to each other. So if you will proceed now, I'll ask you this vow here. All right? Do you, Jared, in the presence of God and these witnesses, promise to love and cherish in sickness and in health, in prosperity and adversity, this woman whose hand you now hold?
I do.
Do you promise to be to her in all things a true and faithful husband, to cleave unto her and to her only, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Do you take her to be your lawfully wedded wife for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Do you, written in the presence of God, these witnesses, promise to love and to cherish in sickness and health, in prosperity and adversity, this man whose hand you now hold?
I do.
Do you promise to be to him in all things a true and faithful wife, to cleave unto him and him only, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Do you take him to be your lawfully wedded husband, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Jared, do you possess a token of your love, to seal this affection, this covenant? In all ages, among all peoples, the ring has been a symbol of that which is measureless, and thus, in this holy hour, a measure of your measureless, boundless devotion. It's a circle that has neither beginning nor ending, so down to old age and death and forever, you're to keep this vow. The sign and seal thereof will be this ring. As a ceaseless reminder of the sacred committal, place this ring on the wedding finger of your bride, and repeat after me. I, Jared, take thee, Brittany, to my wedded wife, to have and to hold, from this day forward, for richer, for poor, for better, for worse, to cleave unto thee, to thee only, as long as we both shall live. With this ring, I thee wed. With loyal love, I thee endow. All my worldly goods, with thee I share. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Brittany, do you possess a token of your love and affection for your husband? Invested with the same significance as the ring you just received, it's a circle of precious gold, indicating the longevity of your love and pricelessness of your devotion. Place this ring on the wedding finger of your husband and repeat after me. I, Brittany,
I, Brittany,
take thee, Jared,
take thee, Jared,
to my wedded husband,
to my wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for richer, for poor,
for richer and for poor,
for better, for worse,
for better and for worse,
to cleave unto thee,
to cleave unto thee,
and thee only,
thee only,
as long as we both shall live.
as long as we both shall live.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I thee wed.
with this ring I thee wed.
With all my love,
With all my love,
I thee endow.
I thee vow.
In the name of the Father,
In the name of the Father,
the Son,
the Son,
and the Holy Ghost.
and the Holy Ghost.
Amen.
Amen.
At this time, a symbol of your love, when the Bible says, the two shall become one. In the book of Genesis, chapter 2. So with the candle, symbolically, will you show what has just transpired by your vows? virtue and authority invested in me as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, our Lord, and pastor of this church, in the presence of God and these assembled witnesses, I pronounce you husband and wife, no longer two, but one. You may now kiss your bride. I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Jared Johnson.